Good morning, everyone. It is Jared with Day Traders FX. Great to be with you guys today. I hope everyone had a nice holiday weekend, got a little break. Markets were pretty quiet and closed on Friday, and of course we had a nice holiday weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and there are still quite a few holiday breaks going on throughout the world on Monday as well. So markets have been quiet, but even with some quiet market movement, we've still seen some great setups. Those of you that are not yet familiar with what the 15-minute trade is, it has struck again. And this trade, pretty much every time it lines up, we make money on it. It's kind of that simple. It's just such a beautiful little setup on a shorter term chart. It's not such a fast movement that people have to really jump on it and you have 5 minutes to get into it and you're in it for 5 minutes. It's a nice trade that plays out over several hours. It takes several days to set up, and it just works. The probabilities are so fantastic. Couple of examples. These were some trade recommendations I sent out to the trade group last night. One was the Chef Yen 15-minute chart. Looking for this support to make a move higher, make a little run higher. You can see that was 107.80, and we were looking for that to bump up. Well, what happened here? There's 107.80 right there. Made that nice little run, made that beautiful little movement from 107.80 on up. And you can see it's up about 40 pips. You know, these aren't massive, huge movements, but they're nice, steady 30 to 100 pip movements. It just kind of depends on the setup. And this was a very nice little 40 pips, ran up beautifully, gave us some nice little profits. That was a Chef Yen. That was a totally random pair that I very rarely trade. But when we have the setup on the 15-minute chart, I trade anything that has a 15-minute trade setup because it is so consistent and so fantastic. So that Chef Yen worked out beautifully. We also had one, the yen pairs were just going nuts. We also had one on the Euro Yen. You can see that's my Euro Yen chart. I also sent this out to the trade group about 12 hours ago. And I said, watch for this trend line break. And we're looking for about a 60 pip move up into the moving average, up into the pivot points and so on. And that was sitting, you can see that right there, sitting at 115.02, basically about 11500. If we head over to the Euro Yen, where is this sitting right now? 115.60. So how did that play out? How did this whole movement work? Pretty darn well. So we can see there's that trend line I was pointing out. Made a nice little break, a little bit of a pullback, and then that finished continuation move right there. So again, these notes were sent out several hours ago, and the trades have just barely played out. So they've worked out very, very nicely. So again, nice little run on this Euro Yen, looking for an entry here. Ran up about 25 to 30 pips, pulled back to just about entry, and then made that continuation for 50, and ultimately the high there was about 66 pips from entry, and just has moved very, very nicely. Again, these are very high probability trades, very high probability setups, and oftentimes we get 2 or 3 of them at a time, which is really, really great. Dollar Yen was another one. This is the Dollar Yen. I also sent this out several hours ago. You can see the channel. I was looking for a little short-term falling wedge. Any kind of break out of that, whether it headed lower or broke out where it stood. Nice little falling wedge, looking for a movement higher. And this is what the Dollar Yen did. So here is Dollar Yen right here. Again, this was all from just several hours ago. Here was the Dollar Yen chart that I posted. So there's that exact same little channel. Let's just expand this just a hair. So there's that same little falling wedge. It ended up breaking out right here, consolidated a little bit, and has made a decent movement. This has been the one that moved the least amount. Kind of just chopped around there and finally made a run up of 35 pips. It's pulled back just a little bit, and it's still working its way higher. So Dollar Yen, you know, our worst case scenario was still it ran 35 pips for us, and these others, Euro Yen and Chef Yen, both made 40 plus pip runs and just played out absolutely fantastically well. And I wanted to show you these charts because I wanted to show you that these are not, you know, this is not just talk, and we're also not just looking back and saying this was a great trade you could have done. I suggested all of these entries to my trade group and to those that have the 15-minute trade set up hours before it all happened, and then these trades played out and ran perfectly, exactly well, exactly what we would expect. So it's such a great little setup. We love the 15-minute trade. It's so fantastic. If you have not yet had a chance to look into what the 15-minute trade is and how it works, you can see down below this video there's a nice little area to have a little peek and get involved in the 15-minute trade. It's definitely one of my favorite setups, if not my favorite setup, and it's just so consistent and works so fantastically well time and time again. Wonderful little setup. Hopefully you can have a chance to take a look at the course. It's a simple little course with very clear-cut rules on how to trade this system, and it works very well. So happy Monday to you guys. Have a wonderful week. We've had a great start with these 15-minute trade setups, and hopefully we have some more of these and other great setups to come this week, and I'm sure we do. Thanks to me and everyone here at Day Traders FX. Have a wonderful Monday, and take care. We'll talk to you soon.